I mean, the effects of coronavirus are being felt around the world. Um, as far as I know, from what I've been reading, it's got around a 3% overall mortality rate average, meaning of all the people it affects, of all the ages that it affects, 3%. Now, people are saying that that makes it 10 times more deadly than flu. Now, that is absolutely inaccurate. Um, Flu kills 0.1% of the people that it affects. If you multiply that by 30, you get to 3%. Why is that? 0.1% is 1/10 of 1%. Meaning, if you multiply 0.1 10 times, you'll get 1 of anything. It's basic math. So if you get 10 times 0.1, that makes it 1%. Well, if you have 3% overall mortality rate, how many times is that? It's 30 times more deadly. Now, the one thing I was reading yesterday is that it seems to spare children, which is great. It's great. But is atrociously deadly to elderly people. People 80 and over who contract coronavirus have a 21.9% mortality rate. Meaning, if you're 80 years or older, you have a 22% chance of dying. That is gargantuan. That is huge. Anything that kills 21.9, almost 22% of the people it touches, it is alarming. It's deadly. So what am I trying to say? Stay away from elderly people as much as you can. Please. Man, I have asthma. It's deadly to me. To us that, we have respiratory problems, is deadly to us. So my immune system is healthy, really good, but I'm compromised in my rest. Today is a horrible day for my breathing. But, it's in the back of my head. It's like, is this shit going to kill me? It's got a chance of doing so. I hope not, but, what do you do? I mean, I could isolate myself. I live with roommates, so I have to use common facilities. So even if I stay at my house, the people in my house, they are interacting. There's 3 others. So they're interacting with the community everywhere. So they could bring it to my house. I could be brushing my teeth. It could be so, and they're pigs too, guys, single man. So my strong point is that my health and my immune system is strong. That's what I hope for. So, the shameful part about this is that the right wing, pro-Trump crowd. So the Trump tards, it's not funny. They're out there trying to spin it. They've been trying to spin this as, this is a Democratic conspiracy, a hoax. They're trying to crash the economy and hurt Trump's chances of re-election. Look, man, there's an acute care facility for the elderly in Washington State and their families in Washington State that beg to differ with you. I think it's 26 people. Those elderly people died from the coronavirus. That is an enormous amount of people. They're all elderly, So this is not a joke, They're not closing the NBA, all the rest of the group activities for just for joking. It's the freaking markets are reeling in today. Just today, I think they lost 2,300 points. They have to close it to stop the transmission. So people say, well, it only affects old people, so why should I care? It doesn't only affect old people. It's just that the mortality rate is really high. So if you have an x-axis, I mean a y-axis and an x-axis on a graph, so the number of death being the y-axis and the x-axis being the age, what you get is a climbing graph, where usually in a graph that portrays the flu is a U-shaped, because there's an age where it doesn't kill too many people. The young people, as far as, teenagers and people who are healthy, but the newborns and the little kids, they kill a lot. Flu kills a lot of those. And then as people get older, not as people get old, but the older population, the younger population is in the middle. So that's why the number of death goes down as it describes a population that's in their 18 to 50, right? Something like that. But as people get older, the death toll starts climbing again. So a flu chart is a U versus a coronavirus is a steep climb. Not a steep, actually. I have to see it, but from the numbers I've been seeing, it goes up like really fast when it gets close to the 70s. So here's a question: are you okay with walking around not getting tested? If you have, or not going to the hospital if you get flu symptoms, and possibly passing it on to a person who's compromised with an respiratory illness that's compromised, with an elderly person that's compromised, that that 22% of them, the people 80 and above, die if they get it. Are you okay with killing them? So you have to ask yourself that question. So the failures of the Trump administration, as usual, with the continuous lying and lying and lying, are just never ending. It's useless. The best way to stop this is not to stop travel altogether. He went on the other day on the TV and telling people, old people, go ahead and get in airplanes. Are you kidding me? These are the most vulnerable people. You shouldn't be telling people that. Don't tell that. We all know that you lie, but you have like 60 million people who still believe in you, you fucking asshole. Don't do that to them. I might disagree with them, but they don't deserve to fucking die because you're a lying piece of shit. Don't do that. For God's sake, please don't do that. So then you have Alex Jones and what is it, Rush Limbaugh, who's himself got stage 4 cancer. It's an immunocompromised situation, saying this is a hoax. They're killing themselves. So the response is not to build a wall. The response is to produce as many coronavirus test kits as possible and have a massive response to the people being tested, meaning take it everywhere and test as many people. Yes, that's 300 million. Yes, test 300 million. Because imagine this, if you have 3% of a death toll and you have 100 million people getting infected, guess how many people die? That's 3 million people. And if a population is really old, and that's why you see the death toll being so high in places where the population is old, like in Italy, you have an old aging population in Italy, you see a really high death toll. That's why they had to close, to stop from the people that are in there, from getting killed, So the best response, and wash your hands and do as best as you can. But, what we're trying to do is save the old people, man. It's not fair that the elderly, they gave us everything they had, and all of a sudden we don't give a shit about not about protecting them. We're alive because of them. They worked their asses off, fed us, educated us, paid their taxes so we can have a roads, police force, emergency, fire department, armed forces, education, everything they paid, they did for us. And now is our time to protect them. So if you're thinking about going out to visit your elderly this weekend, don't do it. Okay? please. And those people who work with elderly people, please. See, I mean, I don't know why they have not made compulsive testing on people who work with elderly people in a hospital. I think we should start with that. Make it compulsive for the people who are around the elderly to be tested, and develop as many tests as possible. Okay. And they're available out there all over the world. It's not stopping immigration and all this shit is not going to do shit. Walls don't kill viruses. None of that shit kills. Soap and fucking water kill viruses. So please, if you have to suspend, if you have elderly that you visit on a regular basis, stop visiting them, give them a phone call, say, hey, I'm scared to come visit you. I don't want to hurt you. If I don't know if I have it, because there's an incubation period. I think it's like an 8-day incubation period. So you could have it and can transmit it and not know it before it starts giving you a fever. It might be mild for you, but that mild fever will kill 22% of the elderly people 80 and above that it touches. So please, and be careful out there. Don't panic. Don't panic. Do your thing. Don't go out panicking and shit. Just stay informed and stay the fuck away from Fox News and all this fucking, fucking right wing monsters that are out there. And don't listen to the fucking president. This guy's an asshole. He doesn't give a shit about how many people die because of his lies. So stay safe out there. Stay away from the elderly people. Wash your hands. Okay.